On Saturday, we take a ride out to the Rift Valley. And the Rift Valley is at an elevation of 8,000 feet. And it is an amazing, spectacular view to stand on high and look down into a valley at an 8,000 foot elevation. And the place is so holy and the place is so awesome. I don't think about shopping. There are vendors there. I don't think about anything except God. I'm just flooded with the feeling and the knowing that God is in this space. And so I began to pray, and I noticed that the vendors come to everyone hawking their wares and talking and asking folks to please buy. And they look at me and they just kind of turn and walk away because they sense from my demeanor that I'm in this space of wanting to commune with God and feeling it. And this is what I write that day in my journal. Rift Valley, surely God has kissed this place. This is the Grand Canyon of Kenya. I am awed. I am communing with God the whole time. I feel like I am closer to heaven. This is the tip of heaven. I gather dirt for Reverend Carmen and I pray. God is in this place. I stretch and do a half moon yoga pose on each side. It feels good. I am so thankful. All the vendors hawked everyone else except me. I tell them I am here to commune with God. They read my demeanor and walk away. No one approaches me, and I pray and I gaze. I see the sun's rays pouring through the clouds. God is aiming sunbeams through the clouds in streaks of white light. It is awesome. I have seen so much today, and I am so thankful. So now we are in week 2 of being in Kenya. And before I tell you about the safari at Masai Mara, there's something I wrote in my journal after I had been in Kenya for 7 days, and I want to read it to you. It says, all is well, and I am enjoying every bit of this trip. I feel something in me has changed, fundamentally and permanently shifted. I feel I am not the same person who came over here. And in this feeling of the transformation after we'd been there for 7 days, this is the spirit that I move over to Masai Mara. Masai Mara is at the tip of the Serengeti Plains, and this is where we go on safari. And so we take a jet that flies us over to Masai Mara, and we stay in a safari resort there overnight so that we can go on safari on Monday and go back on safari on Tuesday morning. Well, when we get to Masai Mara and we land, the earth is just so wonderful, and I gather more dirt and I get stones there too, and it's just wonderful. And we go to our room, and the first thing I look up on the door and I see in the room on the wall, and there's a sign that says, you're in a resort where this is in essence, you're in a resort where there are no walls. Wild animals do come in here. Please be careful and watchful. And then it had this paragraph about the monkeys. And it said, leave your door, make sure to leave your door locked, because even if you close the door and don't lock it, the monkeys do know how to manage the latch. They'll be able to open the door and still come into your room. And they will come into your room in search of food and entertainment. And I thought, monkeys are coming into my room in search of food and entertainment. Okay, well, hey. So anyway, people tell me, yeah, the monkeys come in and they get into your drawers and all that stuff, and they go through all your stuff, and they just have themselves a good old time. Well, as I'm reading it and it says, please do not feed any of the animals that you'll come across, I was like, you won't have to worry about me doing that. And as I'm reading this about the monkeys and all these wonderful wildlife creatures that are all around us, I hear shrieks from outside our room. So my roommate and I, we run outside and we look out the door, and lo and behold, here is one of the young ladies that was with us in our group. There's 17 of us traveling together. One of them has fed one monkey a couple of peanuts out of her bag of peanuts, and he decides that he wants the whole bag of peanuts. The monkey was not happy with just one or two peanuts. He said, "You don't think you're going to throw me a couple of peanuts and think that that's going to be okay?" Well, she took off running, and the monkey took off running after her, and she was screaming to the top of her lungs, and it was just hysterical. And people were telling her to throw the bag of peanuts down, at which she finally did. And the monkey stopped short, picked up the bag of peanuts, and was quite happy to, dig in and get his peanuts out. Well, do you know that monkey sat there and ate those peanuts, and then he held the bag while someone took pictures of him? This is amazing. These monkeys, it said in the letter, they're highly intelligent. They know about humans. So, hey, this monkey sat there and he posed for a picture. And I said, well, I will be darned. A monkey is holding the bag of peanuts, posed for the picture, and then he walked off with the whole bag, and him and his buddies, and they had a good old time. So, I learned very quickly, do not feed the monkeys. Okay, another one of our friends, obviously, he didn't read the letter either. And so he's over on the other side. He's got a box of cookies. And he throws one or two cookies to the monkeys, and the monkeys decide they want the whole box of cookies. So he's surrounded by about 20 monkeys, and they're pulling at his pants leg, and they're like, and it is hysterical. And he winds up also throwing the entire box of cookies at the monkeys and hauling off at top speed. And it is just hysterical to see all the monkeys sitting there. They're probably laughing at us, at the humans, and thinking, wow, these humans are really interesting. And, so they got the monkeys got their entertainment that they were seeking for that day. And so we come back into our room after we've had our meal, and we are now getting ready to go on a safari, the evening safari, and there's a morning safari. So we get dressed and we go out on the evening safari, and oh my goodness, did we see everything? We saw hartebeests, we saw monkeys, we saw the elephant family, we saw a lion pride, we saw hawks, we saw buffalo, who are the meanest, orneriest animal on the Serengeti Plains and at Masai Mara. All of the African people tell us, do not mess with the buffalo because they will stampede. They're just not playing, and they don't appreciate anybody rolling up on them. So we stay away from the from the buffalo. We saw sand crows, we saw impala, we just saw amazing wildlife everywhere. This place is teeming with life. It's just teeming with life. And so as we come back from the safari, we go and we eat our meal, our dinner meal, and then we go to our rooms. Well, by now it's getting dark, and you can't walk to your room without an escort, because now all of the animals have gotten feisty and they're walking all over the place. So you have hippos that are grazing, and you have all kinds of things going on there. And so the people who escort you to the room, who escort us to the room, they're Maasai, and they are the ones that do security, because the Maasai tribe are very accustomed to handling all kinds of animals, and they're not afraid of any of them, and they can handle any kind of animal. They kill lions to become a man, so it doesn't matter to them. So the Maasai was walking me back to my room in the dark, and I said, are there really, animals? He said, hold on. And it was so dark, and he took his flashlight and turned it on, and I just saw eyes everywhere. It was like those eyes that you see in those books when you're a little kid, and you see all the eyes peering out from bushes and from trees and in the dark. And I thought, oh my, okay, quickly, get into the room quickly. And so that solved me, that answered my question of, are there animals around here? Lots of wildlife everywhere. So I get to my room and I open the door. We have an adjoining room. It's me and my roommate, Sharon. We're in one room, and Terry and Charlene, they're in the next room next door to us. And I just open the door and I swing it open, and I see mosquito netting everywhere. They have pulled the mosquito netting, and it's covering each bed. And my roommates are all stretched out and they're laying around in the beds talking. I said, if you all, they look like patients in a third world hospital somewhere with the beds and the white sheets and the mosquito netting hanging. I said, what is this? So we just had a very good laugh about that. And I thought it was very funny that they were under the mosquito netting. And I was thinking to myself, well, hey, well, when we got to preparing for bed, and I saw the size of the bugs and the creatures and the mosquitoes, I said, oh, quickly, quickly, I'm getting under the mosquito netting, here I come. And let me tell you, I dived under that mosquito netting. I stayed under that mosquito netting all night. I was so happy for the mosquito netting. Well, at about 2 o'clock in the morning, I awaken because I hear hooves outside the door. And I'm thinking, I hear hooves. And I don't hear hooves walking. I hear hooves like boom, 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 like running back and forth. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, those are hooves. I know those are hooves. Should I look? Should I not look? Okay, I'm going to go look. I get up and I tip to the door and I think, okay, I can't open the door because what if the hooves come running in my room? Okay, look out the window. And so there's a window right next to the door. And so I just take a little peek. I open the slats because there's like slats, blinds that look like slats. And so you move the rod and the slats move. And I looked out and there I see impala all over the grass right in front of our room. And they're just running back and forth, ripping and running, having a good time. I don't know if they're playing impala tag or something, but oh, it's amazing. It is amazing. And I'm just awed. And it just takes me to a whole new place that I'm looking out a window and I'm seeing wild animals rip and run and enjoy the night air. And it's just amazing. The next morning, we go on the morning safari, and the morning safari starts at about 6 a.m. So we get up at about 4 or 5 and start to prepare and get ourselves onto the bus at 6 o'clock to go all around and look at the animals who are stirring, because in the morning they are really up and about and they've been on hunts during the night, and this one is eating that one, and they do what animals do. And so we go out on the morning safari and we're riding, and it is just a beautiful morning. And we see the sun come up over Tanzania. We can see the mountains just in the distance. And Bernard, who is our driver, he tells us that is those mountains over there, that's Tanzania. And so we see the sun coming up, and the sun coming up on the African plains. It really takes me to Lion King. And then we start talking about Lion King, and I realize while I'm in Kenya that Hakuna Matata is a real saying that African people say, and it's Swahili for no problem. There is no problem. And so everyone in Kenya says Hakuna Matata, Hakuna Matata, Hakuna Matata. In Kenya, there's no problem. There's no problem here. And I thought, wow, this is great. I thought that was just in a movie, but it really is in real life. And that's a wonderful way to take life, that there really is no problem. Other than the problems that we make and invent, there really is no problem. And our only problem that we've ever had has already been solved, as I read recently. And so just remembering our oneness with the Creator and remembering love, we do come to see the truthfulness in the saying, Hakuna Matata, there is no problem. And so we go on the safari and we see the pride of lions. And the lion pride is just breathtaking, because we see the great maned one. He's the boss. And then he has his woman beside him. And then we see several other younger males who know that they are not the boss. And then we see several of the lionesses, and then we see lots of cubs. And so we see this huge lion pride family, and they're out in the sunlight, basking in the sun, and our vans pull right up to them, and they kind of look at us like, oh, here goes some more humans. And they seem to be very, very accustomed to humans. Bernard, who is our driver on the safari, he told us, you are in Africa now. You put on your African eyes. You leave your American eyes home. You put on your African eyes. And so, African eyes, you look everywhere all the time because you don't know what might jump out of the bushes or whatever. So you better put on your African eyes when you're in Africa.